So let's go over to Shireen, who's here and who I can get to question yet again. So Shireen, so tell us a little bit about your growing up. And Shireen is one of those faces, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly get to see every day because I always want to know what she's saying and what she's covering. And then I suddenly found that I actually didn't know her at all when I got to read the chapter she has shared with us. So Shireen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Naina, and apologies for joining you all late, but unfortunately I had an interview at 2 o'clock which finished at 2:45, so I could get here just in time to get a spot here with all these lovely ladies. You know, I have to be honest, when Rupa and Naina reached out and asked if I would do a chapter for the book, I wasn't quite sure whether I would make for interesting reading at all, because I've always believed that I'm perhaps one of the world's most boring people. I don't really have a very interesting story to tell. Most of my days are consumed with working about 15 hours a day, and that leaves very little room for anything interesting or remotely interesting to do. So I didn't know what I was going to write about. But then I thought that over the years of interviewing women in business, essentially, and also women in politics and government, I think we always celebrate their success, we always talk about their achievements, but very often we don't talk about the struggle that they've been able to go through to get to the positions that they are in. We don't talk about how hard it is to get to those positions of power. And I think in a sense, in the media, we also tend to glamorize the success, and it makes it look very, very easy. And so for young women who actually come into the business world or who try and make careers for themselves, they come in with this very rosy picture of what it's going to be like. And I thought that the effort on my part would be to give as much of an honest sort of portrayal of what it has been of building a career the last 15 years at CNBC TV 18. Just to take you through my growing up years, my father was a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force, and so for us it meant packing our bags and starting afresh every 2 years. And I think that made me much more resilient. I think it made me understand the importance of adaptability, and I think that also teaches you that the importance of merit, because you don't carry any baggage with you. You could have been the favorite in a classroom today, but tomorrow it's all over and you have to start afresh. So coping with change was something that I learned very early on in life. I think what it also taught me was the value of relationships, the value of keeping your feet firmly on the ground, of not being swayed or tempted by money, for instance. Money means very little to me, perhaps why I've stayed on with one company, which people find it very weird in today's time that I've stayed on with the company for the past 15 years. But that's because money has never been a motivating factor as far as I'm concerned. I've always wanted to create something, be part of building an institution. And I think those are the values that I grew up with. I grew up with a very fiercely protective set of parents who never made me feel that I couldn't do something merely because I was a girl. Both me and my sister have made choices that are unconventional. She's a dancer, she teaches and she has her own school. I'm a journalist, and we were always allowed to make our choices, and I think that's very important, and that's a message that I wanted to send out in my chapter, that very often as women, and especially as young girls when we're growing up, a lot of our choices are dictated by fear. And especially when you get into your careers, a lot of our choices are also dictated by who's going to say what. Somebody is going to say something every single day. So I've learned to cope with the idea that people are going to have opinions. It's important to sort of block the surround sound, and it's important to stay true to who you are and what you believe in. And I think that's essentially helped me get to where I am today. You know, you hear people talk about excellence and wanting to create something. I've always believed in the philosophy of just wanting to improve every day, whether it's my work or it's my outlook and approach to life or myself. My endeavor has been one of constantly improving. And I think that's held me in good stead. So yeah, I'm still struggling to learn the art of saying no. I'm still struggling to negotiate a better deal for myself when the need arises, because I think I'm uncomfortable talking about things that I believe in and, you know, what I should rightfully deserve. And I think a lot of the women that I've spoken to over the years express the same inability to ask for what they rightfully deserve. And I think having sort of passionately embraced the lean-in philosophy, I think it's important that women put themselves on the table, and I believe that women need to ask for what we believe that we rightfully deserve. So no holding back, or at least don't hold yourself back as much as we usually do. So those are the things that I'm currently struggling to unlearn and learn afresh.
We have many women who we see on television as anchors and in fact driving the discussion and debate, but very, very few like you who are right up there running and actually leading organizations. I hadn't realized how tough that life is, in that you describe not having a life. So tell us a little bit more about that, and why you don't have a life, and why you're so grateful that your mom can provide you your food and comfort and be your fashion consultant.
Yeah, all of that and more. But I think it's, you know, the television news business is an all-consuming business. I start my day at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm at work by 9, and because it's all live, I finish only at 10 o'clock at night, which means I never leave work before 10:30 at night. So that kind of tells you why I don't have a life. It's not something that I think that people, unless you're really committed to the process of content creation, unless you're really passionate about the broadcast journalism space, I don't think that it's a life that a lot of people would happily take to. But I am a creature of the news world, so I enjoy that, and even with its downsides. But more than that, I think, you know, the stuff that you struggle with, and early on in my career, that you struggle with is that even though this is in that sense a sunrise sector, it's a nascent industry, and there's a lot of women within the industry, but you know, you still get seen from the gender perspective. It's always, I mean, nobody will ever comment on a male anchor and say, oh, let me introduce you to one of India's best looking, you know, whatever. And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that you know, it's the stuff that you don't need to put up with, that gets thrown your way, and you know, it boxes you into the same old sort of stereotypes of, you know, you're a woman and you'll be judged by a certain characteristic, which I find has, you know, been the harder struggle to sort of cope with. And that also in a sense closes you, you know, you withdraw into your shell because you don't want to deal with that sort of stuff. But I think as a lot of us in the media, you know, you sort of develop thick skins about it, and you go about doing your business and you hope that your craft will speak for itself. But those are the sort of everyday struggles that you deal with. The time is the easy part of it, or the hard part of it, I don't know. But it's this business of just saying that, you know, treat us for what we bring to the table every day in terms of the body of work, for the kind of stuff. I mean, I run India's longest running show on entrepreneurship. It's a show that's completed 14 years. Nowhere in the world has a show on startups completed 14 years. You know, talk about that. But you know, very often the conversation will veer around all the other stuff, but not about what you've actually done. So which I have a problem with, and I hope that we will see that change.